Sam, we want you to go west and finish what Emily started.
Who are these assholes again?
Homo demons.
I've got a good connection to the other side.
Guys, I've been watching this trailer so many times over the past week, it's not even funny. I have been sitting here binging this trailer every single day for the past week, just waiting for this game to come out. And I can't believe it. I can't believe that we've come from 3 years when this game was first announced. We've watched every single trailer. I've picked apart every single trailer, not here on the channel, of course, but definitely behind the scenes. I've been sitting here analyzing every little detail, talking to my friends about it, theorizing on what everything could mean, trying to break apart and pick down, or pick apart and break down, however you want to say it, this cryptic mess that Kojima has created for us. And for the longest time, it felt like this game wasn't real, like it wasn't actually going to come out, and here we are, less than a day away, less than 24 hours. I can hardly stand it. There is no word in any language, in any dictionary on this planet that can truly express my level of absolute fucking excitement for this game. This is my most anticipated title. Out of every single game that's been announced over the past 3 years and is coming out either this year or next year, Death Stranding is my single most anticipated game probably of all time, realistically, and there's just no words. None whatsoever. And I'm even so bad I'm slurring my words. I promise I'm not drunk. Well, maybe drunk on excitement, but that's about it. Here's the thing. I have not been making videos on this game because I did not want to fall into the same trap I fell into with Second Son. For those of you who were around on the channel, you know I was very excited for that game as well, but I made a ton of videos on it. I did a lot of theories, I came up with a lot of things, I built up this game and had this mental image of what it was going to be like, and then when it came out, none of the things I thought about it were true. And that led to some very severe disappointment, as I'm sure all of you are aware by now. What I'm doing with Death Stranding is I'm just going to let it surprise me. I'm not going to try and predict things that I don't know exist in the game for sure. I'm just excited to find out what it is, rather than to find out if it's what I imagine it being. So with that being said, I wanted to take today and just make one final pre-launch video about this game, talk about my ideas, my thoughts, some theories and speculation I have based on this final trailer, the real final trailer, not the one that I thought was the final trailer like 4 trailers ago, and then do a full playthrough of this title. I'm excited. Have I told you I'm excited yet? I'm very excited. It's gonna be sweet because I have Friday off and the game comes out Thursday night, so all night and all day, baby. I am so fucking ready. My body is ready. Just goddamn take me now, Kojima. Jesus Christ. I need to compose myself. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I have to at least try. Okay. Think I'm good. So we're going to start with the beginning of the trailer here, and I'm just going to hit the major stuff. I'm not going to stop and look at every little speck of dust on the screen and go, oh, if you look over here, you can see a little thing that looks like a smiley face in the corner. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to keep it simple and focus on the big things because I don't want to jump too far down the rabbit hole and make this video fucking 5 hours long. To start things off, it's fairly obvious that this trailer begins the same way the 6th trailer did, with Mads telling the baby,
"Don't worry. It's okay. I'll always be with you."
This is significant in some way, shape, or form because it sets up Mads' character, and now, I should be calling him Cliff because that's his name in the game, we see a little bit more of Cliff and we get a far better idea of who he is and what role he's going to play. He is not some weird, ghostly military guy who wants to destroy the world or wants to, you know, ruin everything for everybody. He is literally just a guy. He's just a guy, and if I had to guess, based on the information that we have on the BBs, we know that they're born from still mothers, which are mothers who were dead when the babies were born and came into this world. I would place money on the fact that Cliff is the father of the BB. His wife died giving childbirth, and that is why this child is so important to him, that he's going to the lengths to try and steal it from these armed guards and get himself killed in the process. I would bet money that that is what we're looking at right here. On top of that, I would go so far as to say that this trailer tells us very clearly that Cliff is the true main character of the story. Not the game's protagonist, obviously, because we play as Sam and we experience the world through Sam's eyes and from his perspective, but story-wise, narrative-wise, I believe Cliff is the main character. And here's why. This sequence looks like it takes place at the beginning of the game, before the Death Stranding, or at least right as the Death Stranding is just happening. We see Cliff sneaking around this facility with the baby, trying to escape with it, because my theory that it's his baby, of course. And when he gets allegedly killed by these armed guards, every other time we see him in the trailer, he not only has that weird supernatural appearance about him with the military uniform and the black liquid on his eyes and the superpowers, but he also appears everywhere the baby is. He appears in the tunnel in World War II. He appears in World War I with Sam. And even if we don't see the baby when he's around, it's a fair guess, and an educated guess at that, to assume that the baby is not far away. So, take this in conjunction with the song I'll Keep Coming by Low Roar that was played in the very first trailer for this game, and it starts to make a lot of sense that that song was not referring to Sam in the first trailer when he's on the beach, but is instead referring to Cliff and his journey to get back his baby. Cliff always keeps coming. Another interpretation for this sequence might be that it's more metaphorical than literal. You could say that this part of the game represents the death of Metal Gear and the transition of players from Metal Gear to Death Stranding. Think about it like this. A game's job is to keep the player at all costs. Just get the players and keep them. If a game loses a player, it has essentially failed its job. So, if Cliff represents Snake and the babies represent us, the players, which we do know is a fact based on other evidence that we have, consider this. You have Snake from Metal Gear, Kojima's previous title, sneaking around a military facility trying to remain undetected with us. Sounds like a very Metal Gear thing to do, doesn't it? But, of course, he gets detected, shot, supposedly killed, and the baby, or the players, are taken from Cliff or Metal Gear. Where do we end up? The babies end up in the possession of Sam, who represents Death Stranding, our new home. When you think about all the times that Cliff shows up in the trailers looking like a military guy with the night vision goggles and the guns and the soldiers, it just adds to that idea that Cliff is literally a representation of Metal Gear itself. He is a phantom of the past. On a side note here, I love that Kojima dressed up Cliff to look like Officer Deckard from Blade Runner in this part of the game, because Kojima's a big Blade Runner fan, as am I, but it's cool when you realize that the movie takes place in November of 2019. I just love little Easter eggs like that. It's so cool. I had to mention it. And seeing how important the babies are to this game, it just goes to show how important Kojima believes the players are to a game. Think about how many games have done things that piss players off. Microtransactions, DLC, misleading marketing, false promises, developers not following through on what they say they're going to do with a game. Think about how many games have pissed people off and made players leave and failed their jobs. Kojima is literally showing how important players are to a game by having the characters in the game not only cherish and protect the babies, but also making the babies a necessity for the characters to navigate the world. A game is nothing without a player. A character in a game is nothing without a player. They can't do anything on their own. They can't walk and talk and be alive unless a player gives them that life through a controller. The babies are integral to the survival of this world, and since they represent us, that essentially means we are integral to the survival of a game, which makes a lot of sense because when a game loses all of its player base, guess what the game is considered? Dead. So Cliff wanting to get the baby back from Sam makes a lot of sense because that is basically Metal Gear wanting to get its players back from Death Stranding. It's a nice little subtle jab at the battle between Konami and Kojima, especially based on their past relationship, and I just fucking love how Kojima does this. I love how his brain works and he finds ways to incorporate other things into other things into other things. It's like a Matryoshka doll of storytelling. One thing means something else that means something else that means something else, and it's just this multi-layered level of brain fuckery. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just brilliant. It's sheer brilliance at its finest. And then there's Higgs, Troy Baker's character. This guy gives me so many Infamous vibes. Starting out with the fact that obviously Troy Baker voiced Delsin. Secondly, this right here, totally Augustine. Then there's the whole lightning out of the fingertips thing. I mean, do I even need to mention that one, guys? He teleports like Kessler. He utilizes the black oil abilities. He can control the BTs, which reminds me of at least 2 other characters from Infamous. And he's part of a group known as the Homo Demons, whose base of operations is in Edge Knot City. He is the demon of Edge Knot City. Motherfucker! We also have the game trailers and Die-Hardman, Sam's boss, painting Higgs as a terrorist. You might even say he's a bioterrorist because he uses his power over death to attack and destroy life. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. But is Higgs really the bad guy, or are we just being told that because Die-Hardman has an agenda he wants us to carry out and Higgs stands in his way? Higgs hints at Die-Hardman not being as honest as he claims to be when he mentions,
I'm not the only one wearing masks either.
There's your boss, man.
insinuating that Die-Hardman has hidden motives that we don't know about and probably wouldn't agree with if we did know.
You know better than the demons. Just another kind of cult.
We can also see that all of the BT bosses have these gold masks on them, referencing to the fact that Higgs has some sort of control or manipulation over these creatures. The creatures themselves appear to take inspiration from Lovecraft's work in that they have this very weird, grotesque, unnatural, otherworldly appearance to them, and they're quite unnerving to look at. We then get another brief look at Mama, Margaret Qualley's character, and interestingly enough this time we see two of them, one of which appears very different from the one we've gotten used to over the past couple trailers. Kojima has hinted at parallel universes and multiple dimensions in his teasing of this game over the past 3 years, so it's possible that this other Mama is from a parallel universe, but we have no clue, and I'm very interested to find out more about her character. Speaking of which, we see this very short clip of Sam slashing at her with what appeared to be a pair of handcuffs at first, but upon closer inspection looks more like a circular foldable blade. And you notice when he slashes at her that he doesn't cut her, he doesn't wound her, leave any marks or anything, because if you look close enough, he is actually severing the strand between her and the BT baby attached to her. I'm not sure what kind of implications this will have on her character and the greater story, but this seems like a very important moment in the game. Every time we've seen her, she's been connected to that baby, and it's been an important part of her character. So I'm curious as to why they're severing the strand between her and the baby. Does the baby pose any harm to her? Is there a possibility that she could be detected by other BTs? Is it like an animal thing where baby animals are docile and relatively harmless, but once they grow up, they start to become more of a threat? Who knows? I really am eager to find out more about her character and this whole situation once the game launches. Another thing that really took me by surprise was the ending of the trailer, where Troy Baker's just like, hey, yeah, you want my golden mask? Fuck it, and then slaps it right on your face. Why? I don't understand this, because the mask seems to be some sort of a tool, or maybe the source of Troy's power. I don't think it's the source of his power, because Troy seems more like a hybrid. He's not entirely human. The black tears and the weird supernatural abilities kind of give that away. So I imagine he views himself as sort of an evolutionary, some sort of a hybrid between a human and a BT, and he thinks that people becoming like him is going to be the next evolution of humanity, where Kojima believes that Homo Ludens are the next evolution of humanity, which, for those of you who don't know, Homo Ludens is the mascot for Kojima Productions, and it stands for those who play. Anyway, back to the trailer. He puts the mask on Sam, and I'm wondering why, because we've seen the mask on Amelie as well. So even though this mask appears to be a very important tool and part of Troy's outfit that gives him some kind of ability or augments his already supernatural abilities, why would he be passing it around to other people? What purpose does putting the mask on someone else serve? Does it convert those people over to your side? Does it allow you to mind control them? Does it give them the same supernatural abilities that Higgs has? I've been calling him Troy, haven't I? I just don't know. This is something that I don't have enough information to answer, but again, really eager to find out. And last but most definitely not least, we see Amelie walking up the beach, and she is massive. And it looks to me like she is splotched with the black oil. You can tell her face isn't exactly clean, her dress definitely isn't clean at all. And the dialogue here is very important because she mentions that her real name is Amerigo, after Amerigo Vespucci, the Italian explorer who claimed to have found America but was full of shit and lied about it. She then proceeds to say that America is a lie, and that basically tells me that she's telling Sam, hey, everything I've told you is a lie. I'm a lie. Die-Hardman is a lie. He's been lying to you all along. This whole mission to rebuild America is a lie, and the entire motivation that is given to Sam at the beginning of the game is a lie. That's what that tells me. I think this could possibly be one of the biggest spoilers in the game, and I hope that it isn't straightforward. I hope Kojima's misleading us here, but I get the feeling that he's not. I honestly think he just threw in like a third act end of the game spoiler at the end of this trailer, because now we're going to go through the entire game suspecting that something is up with Amelie. We're not going to ever have that moment of trust because we're going to expect her to do the whole America's a lie thing. And I think that kind of ruins the mystery. Her character was very suspicious to me from the first moment we saw her, and I feel like that suspicion should have been left for me to hang on to while I was playing the game, and not knowing if she was going to be trustworthy or a bad guy. Now that we have this trailer, he basically confirms, oh yeah, she's probably a bad guy anyway, and I think that was a mistake. Oh, and we also see Fragile use her spiky jacket to teleport Sam at the end of the trailer, so at least now we know what her jacket does. I'm not sure what the fluid on it is, maybe it's ferrofluid or the black oil, I have no clue, but hey, she can teleport. At least I would think that she can do it if she can also teleport others. But yeah, we know that now. Oh, and one last thing. The music in this trailer is absolutely transcendent. If you haven't heard the song by itself yet, I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. Go check it out. It gives me chills every time I listen to it, man. This music is utter perfection. I can't wait to hear the entire soundtrack. But other than that, I believe that's all I got today. Tell me if you guys are just as excited for this game as I am. I don't think you are, but I'd still like to hear about it anyway. Tell me what you think about what we discussed in the video today. Tell me your ideas, thoughts, and opinions. And I will see you all in less than 24 hours to reconnect America. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.